Hello, welcome back. My name is Jacob Heimovitz, and I gotta tell you something. When I was in high school, before I turned 18 and went to elections at high school, and then in January 2016, I went to Leachman Career Preparatory and Transitional Center. I was still in high school as a teenager, and I was asking if they have the 007 James Bond books at their library. But the James Bond books, start over. From August 2011 through December, from August 2011 and December 18, 2015, I was at high school, and when I was in the fall of 2008, let me start over. From August 15th, 2011 through December 18, 2015, I was at high school. And the reason why I didn't graduate high school on June 2015 is that I wasn't ready to go to an after high school program for special needs young adults ages 18 and 22 like me. So I went to Van Nuys High School for my final year when I was 18, from August 2015 through December 18, 2015. It was electives class. It was cooking classes. It was electives, not math, history, or science classes, just elective classes, like cooking classes and other stuff. And before August 2015, and before I turned 18, I was a teenager at high school. And in 2013, in 2013, when I was 15, turning 16 on September 24th, 2013, the only James Bond movie I used to love watching and liking as a teenage high school student before I was 18 is Skyfall. It got very good reviews. It's one of the highest grossing films of 2012 and won an Oscar Academy Award for Best Original Song. And when I was in high school, before I was 18, as a teenager, I liked Skyfall. I saw it countless times on Netflix, on my Wii or Blu-ray player. And I'm into James Bond since I was in high school. Only Skyfall. And my high school has a library. I went to Van Nuys High School, and I asked the librarian at Van Nuys High School if they have some of the James Bond books, because the James Bond movies were based on a series of books by Ian Fleming before the first movie came out. And the librarian says, we have a book series that's famous, popular, successful, iconic, memorable, unforgettable, and worldwide smash hit bestseller books aimed at 6th to 12th graders with a very similar premise, very similar concept, very similar story, and very similar thing, Alex Rider. And they had Stormbreaker, the first Alex Rider novel by Anthony Horowitz, and I've been wanting to read Alex Rider book series since I was like 15 or 16. And when during Hanukkah or the holiday 2014, my parents' good friend that used to live as a neighbor in Sherman Oaks, named Tanta, who used to work at Sony until 2017 or 2016 or 2018, has a husband named Mark, and they now live in the Seattle metropolitan area since 2016, 17, or 18. And in the holiday of 2014, she bought me the Alex Rider 10-book series collection for Hanukkah. And from the spring of 2015, I rented the Alex Rider movie Stormbreaker, which is not a famous, popular, successful, iconic, memorable, timeless classic, good, successful film. Instead, it was a huge critical and box office failure to the #1 best-selling book, Stormbreaker. I saw the Alex Rider movie Stormbreaker. I rented it at a local video store, and then I rented it again. Not that I didn't rent it again, I saw it again online. And when I was 17 in early 2015, I read the first Alex Rider novel called Stormbreaker, and when I was 17 or 18, I read Point Blanc, and I read Skeleton Key when I was 18. But I don't remember if I read the second Alex Rider novel when I was 17, or maybe I read it when I was 18, I don't know. But for sure, I read Alex Rider's Skeleton Key when I was 18. And for sure, for a fact, I've read Alex Rider's Stormbreaker, the book, when I was in high school, at age 17 in early 2015. And I liked it. I enjoyed the Alex Rider first 3 novels when I was 17 or 18. But I didn't understand the story a little bit. But when I was like, when it comes to reading books, it all started when I was at preschool. It all started when I was in preschool, the Jewish Community Center, which is local from my house, and elementary school, grades kindergarten and 5th grade. And I did not read children's books, all aimed at 2nd to 5th graders, which has a lot of words and sentences and some pictures. I've only read children's picture books aimed at very young kids, younger than 9 or younger than 8 from ages 3 to 7. And a lot of those children's books that are picture books I used to like to read when I was younger than 11, before I started 6th grade. A lot of them were famous, popular, successful, iconic, memorable, successful, good children's picture books aimed at 4 to 8-year-olds. One of them is Shrek by William Steig, Dr. Seuss books, Curious George, Frog and Toad, Clyde with a Chance of Meatballs, Where the Wild Things Are, Zathura, the second Jumanji book. Let me think. Arthur, and so many other famous, popular, iconic, and memorable, timeless, classic, good, successful, best-selling children's picture books aimed at 3 to 8-year-olds. And when I was 15 or 16, I read my first children's picture book. Well, when I was 15, I read my first children's novel with some words. I read my first children's novel aimed at 2nd to 5th graders with a lot of words, a lot of sentences, a lot of paragraphs, and some pictures, called Pinocchio. And I mostly understood the book. I know what the story's about. I don't know what the themes are about. And I read it when I was in high school, but I still read some young adult novels when I was in high school. I read Harry Potter, books 3 to 4, aimed at 11 and 12-year-olds. I've read the first 3 Alex Rider novels, and I read the first 3 Harry Potter books, but they're children's books aimed at 9 and 10-year-olds, grades 4 to 5. And I've only read the first 4 Harry Potter novels, but the first 2 are children's books aimed at 9 and 10-year-olds and 4th and 5th graders, and the 3rd and 4th are aimed at 11 to 12-year-olds and 6th to 7th graders. And I still understood and enjoyed it, but I didn't understand it a little bit. But I still enjoyed it. I still read it. I understand the story and the plot. And when I was in Leachman's Career Preparatory and Transitional Center, before the summer of 2018, I've read 10 children's novels, including 1 children's novel that I read the first 4 books, that are all famous, popular, successful, good, iconic, memorable, blockbuster, best-selling hits, and that are aimed at 2nd and 5th graders, like James and the Giant Peach, The Iron Giant, E.B. White books, The Chocolate Touch, Sideways Stories from Wayside School, what was I thinking? And the Secret Agent Jack Stalwart books, just the first 4 books in a more than 10 book series. And those children's books aimed at 2nd to 5th graders with a lot of words, paragraphs, sentences, and some pictures, that improve and my comprehension reading level. Now, I'm reading children's books aimed at 6th and 12th graders. But let's go back to Alex Rider. Man, I started reading Alex Rider in chronological order since April 2020. It took me a few months to finish Alex Rider, the spin-off prequel about the assassin who killed Alex Rider's uncle, and it took me 2 years to finish all 13 Alex Rider novels. But I reread the first 3 Alex Rider novels I liked enjoying when I was 17 or 18, but didn't understand some of the scenes. I read it again during the COVID pandemic lockdown in 2020 of the summer, and I understood it a little much more. And it took me, most Alex Rider books took me a month to finish each book. And since Saturday night, I finally finished my 13th and final Alex Rider novel, Secret Weapon, the short story collection. 7 short stories in the Alex Rider short story Anthology Fix-up book collection. And I gotta tell you something. I've read 12 Alex Rider novels. I loved them, I enjoyed it, and I've read 1 Alex Rider Fix-up anthology short story collection with 7 short stories. And Alex Rider, I love Alex Rider. It's one of my favorite books so far, along the War of the Worlds. I love the concept where Alex Rider, despite being 14 and 15, he's recruited by MI6 to become a secret agent, but he still likes to go to school, hang out with his friends. And there are times where Alex Rider doesn't want to be a secret agent. He just wants to be at school, be with his friends, and do a lot of schoolwork. But Alex Rider misses a lot of school, and Alex Rider nearly got killed on all of his missions and nearly got himself killed, but he almost got himself killed, and Alex Rider has been in extreme, intense peril throughout all the missions Alex Rider's been on. But Alex Rider's uncle, Ian, took care of Alex Rider. Well, Alex Rider's parents died in a plane crash, and Ian Rider took care of Alex Rider after Alex Rider's parents died, and I love the interesting fact that I love how Ian Rider has trained Alex throughout his childhood before he was 14 on his first mission. He taught him how to do martial arts, intense sports, martial kung fu, and other martial arts techniques throughout his childhood. And Alex Rider's father was an MI6 agent, but when I read Alex Rider Russian Roulette, the spin-off prequel about the assassin who killed Alex Rider's uncle, Alex Rider's father worked undercover at a terrorist, villainous organization, Scorpia, that Yasin Grigorovich has been training to become an assassin. And it all started when Yasin was a kid, a boy, and and there was a outbreak, and his parents gave him something to help him give a great immune system to cure himself from, and he ran away from his parents. He got himself chocolate bars, and there was an action sequence where he runs away from his parents and the bad guys. Well, Yasin Grigorovich grew up in a small town in Russia, and and during the action sequence, they bombed the whole city of the small town in Russia to stop it from spreading around the world. I'm not sure if I got into that details, but Alex Rider ran away from his parents after they died. And then he went to a city in Russia. He took a train. He went to a big Russian city, hang out with his criminal friends, that they have no electricity and nothing that can give power and electricity. So they stole stuff, and Yasin Grigorovich was captured, and he was working throughout his years, and he was enslaved by a villain, which is the main villain in the book, probably, and he wants to get out of here. There's a lot of action going on in this book, Russian Roulette, the story about how Yasin killed Alex Rider's adopted uncle, and Alex Rider, Yasin Gorovich, escapes, and he is already he got recruited to Scorpia, the main villain in the book series that is a criminal, terrorist, evil organization that causes massive crimes around the world, including terrorism and murder and destruction. They train Yasin Gorovich to become an assassin, and there's a very interesting part where Alex Rider's father, despite being an MI6 agent, his name is John Rider, he's undercover at Scorpia, and John Rider has mentored Yasin Gorovich to become an assassin, and John Rider was an MI6 agent undercover for Scorpia, the terrorist criminal villainous organization. So John Rider was a good friend to Yasin Gorovich, and then in the end, Yasin Gorovich became an assassin. And in the Alex Rider novels, I love how Alex Rider went from a schoolboy to a secret agent for MI6 that he doesn't want to become part of, that nearly killed him and put him in extreme, intense peril and danger. There's a lot. Alex Rider is such a great book series. I gotta tell you something. Every time Alex Rider goes on a secret mission and tries to stop criminals from taking over the world and to save many lives and save the world, it's a great book series. I love them. Filled with great stories, dialogue, characters, humans, locations, settings, great themes, and it's full of nonstop, well-written action, adventure, thrill, suspense, danger, peril, excitement, suspense, mystery, and so much more. I love Alex Rider. The only Alex Rider book I read when I was in high school at age 17, before I was 18, was Stormbreaker. And that was his first mission where he has to stop a terrorist from killing lots of British school kids, called Stormbreaker. And I love them. Alex Rider is so great. Those books kept me on the edge of my seat. But it took me mostly a month to finish each book. But that's okay. Man, this series got me pumped. It's like when I'm reading the Alex Rider books, it's like watching an action adventure movie that has a lot of great action and great suspense and great danger, like the Fast and Furious films or the James Bond films, or even the movie SWAT with Samuel L. Jackson, or Triple X movies, and the Transformers movies, and so many other action adventure films that are all famous, popular, successful, iconic, memorable, successful, good action adventure movies aimed at teenagers or adults. It's so awesome. And Alex Rider learns that his father, at the end of the fourth Alex Rider novel, that Yasin, before he was dying, said his last words, that Alex's father was a Scorpia agent, not just an MI6 agent. So he dies. He says, before that, he says, go to Venice, find Scorpia, you will find your destiny. So Alex Rider goes on a mission in the fifth novel to Scorpia to find the truth about his father. And in the end, Alex discovers that his father was an MI6 agent. But he was still, but I remember while reading Alex Rider Russian Roulette that John Rider was an MI6 agent undercover at Scorpia, mentoring and being a good friend to Yasin Gorovich. Yasin Gorovich is the man responsible for killing Alex Rider's uncle. And when Alex was younger than 14, he had a housekeeper and a good friend that watched over him, Jack Starbride. Jack is a girl, not a boy. Her full name is Jacqueline, and she's from America, and she lives in England with his good friend, parental guardian, after Alex's uncle died. Alex Rider's uncle died, and Jack took care of Alex. Jack is Alex Rider's parental guardian and caretaker since his uncle died, and probably Jack was worried and that Alex Rider doesn't want him being involved in MI6, and that nearly killed him. It put him in extreme peril. It's so awesome. It might be so original to other spy action adventure stories in books, TV shows, or films or games, like the later Fast and Furious movies, beginning with Fast and Furious 6, Mission Impossible, Triple X, James Bond, and Kingsman films, is that Alex Rider is a teenager that got recruited by MI6, and he doesn't want to be a secret agent. He wants to only be at school with his friends, doing schoolwork and classes, getting good grades. But he frequently misses school and puts him in extreme, serious, intense peril. And this is so awesome. It's like watching an action-adventure movie with a lot of great action. Alex Rider books are so well written. They're so awesome. They're so enjoyable. I would recommend the Alex Rider book series for 6th and 12th graders. And it's such an awesome read. For 6th and 12th graders, if you love action-adventure films or TV shows or games, you're going to love the Alex Rider book series. It's awesome. I had a great fun time enjoying the book series. And it's such a great book series. And I hate the Alex Rider movie Stormbreaker. It wasn't just a huge critical and box office failure. The film has grossed less than $40 million at the worldwide box office. It was so terrible. But I have seen the first season of the Alex Rider TV show that got much, much better graded reviews from critics, audiences, and fans of the book series, and people who hate the Alex Rider movie Stormbreaker. And it got much better reviews, a much, much better, greater reception than the movie. And the Alex Rider TV show is so awesome. I love the Alex Rider TV show. There are many scenes that are similar to the first two Alex Rider books. I'll watch season 2 once I'm done with season 1. I gotta go. My mom's calling. Bye.